Welcome back to another episode of What's on My Radar. Meteorologist Reid Kisselback here, and today's topic is going to be different types of clouds. We get a lot of questions about them, a lot of photos about them, and so I figured it'd be fun to do an episode about this just to kind of figure it out for ourselves here. So joining me for this one, I figured you can't do this one alone, is another one of Channel 13's best and brightest. We have Caitlin Irla. Thank you, Caitlin, for taking this journey with me on this one.
Yeah.
You know your cloud types well?
No,
that's okay.
No.
That's okay. We can even give you the first question here, which is, do you know how clouds form?
Water.
Water, that's a step of it. Good. That's pretty good.
Precipitation.
All right, you get there. So, this is the good part, right? You don't have to know these answers. This is my job. So.
Right. So Reid is he's well aware that he may make me look stupid, but he's trying to tell me I don't have to know these things. I'm not a meteorologist. So.
No, we want some perspective from somebody outside of a weather department. So it's fine. So how we get a cloud in general is, water cycle for us here. But there's two ingredients that we need. One is what we call nuclei, which is just particles in the air for water to condense on. But we have warm air, it evaporates some water. It'll rise up through the atmosphere. Eventually, as it starts to rise, it cools. Okay. The water starts to condense on those particles. And then eventually, we get ourselves a nice little cloud that pops up. What happens, though, too, is as that starts to happen, eventually some more dry air will mix in. And then you'll start to see if it's more dry air, then you see the cloud break up. If there's more moisture, then you see the cloud grow. So that's one of the reasons why the clouds always look different. It all depends on location, in case you didn't know that. That might be interesting. But, Caitlin, do you happen to know just the three cloud types? You remember, back in elementary school?
All those years ago?
Yeah, we would have, the three main cloud types. I gave you a bonus fourth one if you could figure it out, but you got to think. I can give you the hints if you want.
Yeah, I need a hint.
You need a hint? All right, so one is those poofy, kind of marshmallow looking clouds.
I'm supposed to know the name of it?
Yeah. It's okay if you don't.
I don't. Well, I feel bad because you guys probably talk about this all the time during your forecasts, but it's not easy to pay attention to everything you say.
Cloud types don't necessarily pop up that much all the time. Usually if we talk about it, we talk about a thunderstorm cloud, which is one of the cloud topics I got in here for you. So usually that might be one we might mention a little bit more, but we don't always mention it. Usually, yeah.
I feel like I should know.
So that's okay. Do you know the thin wispy ones at all? Kind of like feathers? No? Okay.
No, I'm trying to think. I wanted to Google them beforehand, but you told me not to.
No, it's okay. You don't have to. So this is why I'm here.
I bet you a fourth grader would know this.
I know. Isn't it crazy though what we lose from school on into adults because we start to not use those things as much? But the three types that we had in school were cumulus, which are the poofy marshmallow ones.
I was thinking of that, but I didn't want to say it wrong.
No, that's fine. You're okay. So these are the ones that pop up. So it's cumulus, which are the ones that we always learned in school. Cirrus, which are the thin, wispy, feathery ones.
I knew that was one.
Do you remember the last one? Do you have an idea or a guess?
So I don't know if it's a type of cloud. I think it's just a funnel cloud.
Funnel cloud would be associated with one of these things down the line, but stratus is the last one.
Oh, I wouldn't.
We always talk about stratus was those kind of, I almost view it as a blanket is a better way to put it, where it's kind of thin, all air clouds across the sky.
I should have known that. We worked with a meteorologist who named her cat Stratus.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then the bonus one I gave you is the thunderstorm cloud, which is cumulonimbus, which is one that not everybody says. But
how do you say it?
Cumulonimbus.
Cumulonimbus.
Yes. This is one where if you
nimbus.
This is one where sometimes if you go out in public and ask people the cloud type, this one pops up, which kind of surprises me. But I'm okay with it. Yeah, usually get cirrus or cumulus are usually the top two.
Yeah, they sound more like I should have known them.
But all right, so what we have next is I kind of have a diagram. You look at your screen if you want. So there's a bunch of different cloud types of just kind of combos of these as you go up, and basically it's just based off of your altitude. So you have stratus clouds, that blanket. You have stratocumulus, so they're poofy, but they're a little bit more broken up, but it's a layer of them kind of more uniform.
Oh.
You get nimbostratus, which is that blanket, and rain. So nimbo, you just learned already, is a keyword for rain, because
Yes.
cumulonimbus is also the only cloud that's producing rain in this mix.
Okay.
As you go up a little bit more, altostratus, just higher up stratus clouds, you get altocumulus, a little bit higher up, and then you have just cirrus and cirrostratus. And again, you kind of get the gist of it, right? So not too bad.
Yeah. Well, it's hard enough to remember. I can't even say
Yeah,
these
so
names.
when I interned for the Weather Service, part of our job was we had to go out and write down what kind of clouds we had. And it was the most terrifying part of the job.
Yeah, it's got to
There's
be.
too many.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I can't say it. I can't spell it.
That's the beauty of it, because you're gonna like the next part too, which is
great.
what we have called rare cloud types. So these are the ones that I actually sometimes we see them. Some of these we've actually seen in our area. Sometimes some of them you don't. But these are the ones when you see them, people go, "Are these real? Is this actually a thing?" And most of the time, it's yes, because you still have to look for like a fake photo in the mix. But most of the time, it's actually true. And so I have the pictures for you, Caitlin. For people who are listening, I'll try to describe it to kind of give you an idea of what it is. So, Caitlin, go ahead and take a look at this first one. What does that look like to you, would you say?
A volcano.
Volcano. I say UFO.
Oh, okay. I
Right?
see you. I
So-
see a UFO on top of a
Right?
volcano.
Right? Yeah. So usually you get these on the top of a mountain. And so when I think of these, I think back to like, you ever watch like Ancient Aliens?
Yes.
Or something like that. So my father-in-law is a big fan of
Yeah.
the show, and so sometimes I'll see it with him, and they always talk about like ancient civilizations report like seeing UFOs at the top of the mountains. They go, "Those are these clouds." It's not that, but it's funny to think of that.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
It probably is in that instance. So, do you have a guess for what these ones are called? I don't expect you to get this.
Now, are they similar to the other names?
They're a little weird, yeah.
So,
These
like-
ones get a little bit more off top.
Like,
off
so
the
they're
top.
just like an
You give me your best weird cloud name you can come up with for this.
Nimbus. I'm trying to mix the names.
No, I
because
like it.
don't
It's
know.
smart. It's a good strategy. It's a good strategy.
I don't.
So these ones, it starts with L. I'll give you that.
Lumerous.
Lumerous.
Lenticular.
Lenticular. So we're close.
That's close.
Right?
Lumerous lenticular.
Right. So you get these clouds when air moisture kind of hit an obstacle. So you kind of get this over a mountaintop. So when stable air kind of goes over the mountaintop, you get kind of a wave on the downward side of the mountain.
Okay.
And there's a lot of moisture in the air and the temperature is low enough, you kind of start to get just a little bit of some clouds forming right there at the summit. And so that's
Okay.
where you kind of get the weird little UFO.
That's a cool cloud, though. I like the way it looks.
I do too. That's one of the ones so these ones have actually seen on some of our cams.
Oh, really?
Occasionally, Yep. Sometimes I'll see this on our Bennington cam.
Okay. Right.
Or
Mountains
in
there?
the Berkshires, yeah, because you have the mountains right there to see it a little bit more. So Bennington usually catches these ones pretty good when they do.
If you're in Bennington, send us some pictures if you see
The
any.
lenticular ones are sometimes the ones that I get a lot from Bennington.
Yeah.
You know what these ones
A
are called?
wave cloud.
Oh, there you go. So that's the correct answer.
It is?
Yeah.
A
This
wave
one's a wave
cloud?
cloud. The next one's a wave
I
cloud.
swear I didn't Google it.
No, it's good. So for those who are listening, it
I
looks
mean,
like a bunch of
everybody-
waves in a row.
You could say that.
There is an actual technical term for this one, but wave cloud is generally the accepted one because most people can't even pronounce the other one as much.
Well, then there's no way I'm
You don't
gonna
know
guess
this?
it.
You want me to go for it?
Can you pronounce it?
I can.
Okay, go
It
ahead.
is Kelvin Helmholtz clouds.
Kelvin
so they-
Helmholtz
Clouds. Yep.
clouds.
So they're named after two people. So British mathematician physicist, that's William Thomson, who was originally went by Baron Kelvin.
Okay.
And then also a German physicist named Hermann von Helmholtz. So Kelvin Helmholtz combined right
Okay.
there gives you that one.
I like wave better.
Wave is an easier one for sure, right? It's not as bad. And these are one of the rarest cloud formations you can ever get. That's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people like them. But you usually get them on really windy days, higher up in the atmosphere, where there's a big difference in the air density. So when the air above is kind of moving faster than the air below, you get a little bit of that wave motion.
Right.
So that's how you kind of get these ones. But they're usually very short-lived.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool.
There was one of these, if you remember a while back, this actually was trending on the internet for a while because a pilot took a photo of it.
Yeah,
when they were
I
flying.
feel like
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like the ocean in the air.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people like it. So that one's a cool one. These ones, the next photo here, you kind of got to look right above the tree line, Caitlin. For
Like
this
right
one.
here.
Yep, where it looks like a bunch of
Veins.
kind of clouds together, but kind of almost like a wave a little bit there too. They're interesting ones. These ones are a little bit more like cotton balls, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Do you have a guess for this one? You want the first letter to give it a guess?
Sure.
M.
Moleculous clouds.
I like what you're coming up with.
Moleculous.
This one is called Mammatus. So they typically indicate bad weather that's approaching, typically thunderstorms.
So you don't want to see these clouds.
Typically, no. But these ones are interesting just because they really last for a long period of time, like several hours. And scientists are still not sure how exactly they form. So that's an interesting one in that part.
That's really cool.
And these ones usually we talked about like water vapor. These ones usually have more ice crystals. So the more ice crystals in the cloud, the longer they last. So they're a little bit more interesting. You kind of see these a little bit more out in the plains too. After a couple hours of some severe storms, these can kind of like linger in there too.
Yeah.
So those are interesting ones. This one actually, this photo was taken from the National Weather Service in Albany. So we get them here sometimes. Mammatus. You got a favorite one so far of the three?
I like the wave cloud, but I can't say the official name. Kelvin Helmholtz. Kelvin Helmholtz. No.
Close.
All right. No.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
These ones are not from this area, but I think you like them. So these look kind of like rainbowish and a little bit more fluid.
Like light.
Yeah. It reminds me of those like really old, like you're gonna have to forgive me for saying this one's like you go to your grandparents' house and they have that one like vase where like the light catches it weird and a little bit some rainbow in it. Yeah.
They all had one of those, all of our grandparents.
I feel like that's it given in every grandparent's house from our generation at least. So yeah, that's all
right. I'm gonna name it.
Yeah,
I know it's not the name, but these are the rave clouds.
The rave, I like it.
Like it looks like it's a party in the sky. Like if you're out partying, you want this above you.
I like that one. Clouds. So these ones start with the letter N. So I don't know, it's a weird one. You want to try one more?
Nucleominal.
Ooh, that's a fancy name. We're gonna have to save these for I think any more new clouds that come up.
Nucleominal clouds.
So they are Narcreus clouds. And these ones are in the stratosphere around the poles. So in particular, this is where the temperature reaches 100 degrees below zero in Fahrenheit. So very cold conditions needed for those.
Maybe I don't want to ever see these clouds.
Well, you're going to be enjoying a trip in Antarctica. So you could enjoy it. You never know. But they are also, these ones get their colors because they are the site of chemical reactions that kind of break down the ozone in the upper atmosphere. So that's where they get their color.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. So it's probably a stupid question. So is the sun shining through there and that's what's making them like that's just what they look like?
So some of the color itself is from the chemical reaction.
That's crazy.
Some of it, like in the middle of that photo there's kind of like the bright whitish spot. That would be the sunlight hitting.
Okay. But the other stuff actually can form that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool.
Science is cool like that sometimes where you get some weird things like this. I know it's nerdy.
Yeah, science is cool.
Hey, I love it. Yeah. Next one. I think you can get this one.
I don't know if I can get
So we're going with, this is what you usually see on a severe thunderstorm.
Yes.
It's that cloud that hangs down underneath the actual thunderstorm for those who are listening. Sometimes you will hear us actually mention this term on air in regards to severe weather, which I know is a little bit more difficult for you because you do the mornings and we don't really get it.
I know, and I do watch every day. I do watch the news.
So like, sometimes you'll hear it when it pops up.
Oh, what
It's a short word. Do you need another hint?
Yes.
Would you like the letter or would you like?
Yeah, give me a letter.
Okay, S.
Storm.
I'll give you one more hint.
It's a storm cloud.
I'll give you one more hint to see if you can get this. It also is a piece of furniture.
Oh, I don't know. A sofa. A sofa cloud.
I love it. We're going to go with shelf cloud. Yeah.
Oh, come on. I've been watching Paul like my whole life.
No,
so I feel bad.
So it's all good. So shell cloud, you're not supposed to know it.
I
mean,
know,
these ones
but
are rare. Nobody's really supposed
I
to know
know,
these.
but
And even this one too. I know these can get often mixed with wall cloud or things like that.
oh,
Too.
that
So
makes
like
sense
those,
too. Yeah.
so that's okay too. That's fine. So yeah, these are the wedge attached to the thunderstorm. And this is usually on the underside, on the outer edge. You kind of see it hangs down like a shelf.
Yeah, it's cool.
On the back side of it, it often gives you a little bit more of that like turbulent motion or windy conditions that you can tell it's just a very active storm
Right.
with a lot more stability to it. And these are the ones where we're watching for tornadoes and things like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's out of a movie.
It does. And this one's actually this photo is in Florida. Right off the Gulf Coast shoreline.
Nice.
So it's a little bit more of an intimidating look than what we would get here.
Yeah,
obviously.
right. Obviously.
But it's still pretty
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
So we got this one now. It looks very similar to the last one, but it essentially just looks like a giant tube, horizontal tube of cloud. And this is actually one that I kind of like these clouds too. This one's up there for me.
Well, it kind of looks like an ice pick the way it looks
Right?
now.
A little bit. You want the first letter?
I need a hint for everything.
R. It's a 4-letter word.
Runt cloud.
I like it.
No.
No, not quite.
I just was thinking. I don't
What do you think that cloud's doing?
It looks like it's like shooting across. Or
From the-
rolling. Oh, rolling. A roll cloud.
There you go. You
Really?
got it. Yeah.
At first, like I was looking
Roll
at
cloud.
it instead of looking at it on, like I was looking at it go like this, but then when you actually look, okay.
Right. Yeah. So that one, it's a horizontal tube. So this
Right.
is rolling horizontally. So a roll cloud, often those get associated with gust front in a thunderstorm.
Okay.
But
Cool.
sometimes cold front, you can also see them. They can be a sign of maybe some microburst activity too that we get. But you get the colder air sinking from the clouds, the storm clouds downdraft, and then you get some warm air being drawn into the storm's updraft. So you kind of get this rolling motion around it.
That's cool.
In some spots, you can get rows of them. Not always, but sometimes. And that's pretty
Wow.
cool too. But they're basically shelf clouds without attachment to a thunderstorm is another way to
Okay.
do it. So
It'd be cool to see it in person.
yeah, these were ones where sometimes right even before the storms start to form, you can start to see it form up a little bit. And you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then you're like, oh, crap, I should probably get inside.
Right. Yeah, right.
This one's a fun one, and you're not going to get a name for it. But the best way to describe this one is it looks almost like you're in the ocean and you're looking up at the waves going over you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that kind of wavy, rocky motion. Do you want to give a guess to what these ones? This one has 2 words to it.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like it looks cool. Like some of it looks like smoke.
Yeah,
Um,
it's cool to see, for sure. And we don't really see these ones here.
it kind of looks chaotic, really. Like
Yeah, it's turbulent. Is really the best
yeah,
way to
right.
kind of
Okay,
put it.
right.
Yeah.
That's how a scientist would put it. All right, what is it?
This one, you're gonna love this one. Yeah, Undulatus asperatus, which it's a rare, newly recognized cloud formation that was proposed in 2009. I know, you're like, yeah, I don't really get it.
Undulatus asperatus.
But essentially, what it translates to is roughened or agitated waves. So that's kind of like what we were saying, where it looks a little bit like that.
Yeah,
rock.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these appear a lot in the plains during the morning or midday hours following a lot of thunderstorm activity. So it's like you can kind of tell the atmosphere was crazy
Right.
active.
Something
So
was
this is
going
kind of
on.
like, like you stir the pot and everything's kind of like
Okay.
calming down a little bit more. So that's kind of like the visual demonstration to it, which is an interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Not bad, right?
No,
Do you
I
have
like
a
it.
favorite one pick now, or is it still the wave?
I still like the wave.
The wave one's the cool one. I agree with you on that.
Ooh, I like
Next
that
one.
one.
These ones we get a lot of photos of, and people give them all kinds of names. We get sundogs with these. We get called halos with these.
Rainbow cloud.
Yeah, we get rainbow cloud, which would be one that typically you could take. That'd be ones that a lot of folks would take. Caitlin on that one, but it does have a term for it if you can get it. But for those listening again too, this is like a cirrus cloud, so the thin wispy, but it's a rainbow color. Yeah.
Colorless cloud.
Starts with an I.
Well, I was trying to like mix it with cirrus clouds.
No, I
but,
got you.
Uranus.
It's close. Iridescent. So sometimes we'll say cloud iridescence or an iridescent cloud.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, it's the same principle of like getting a rainbow, right? So you have all the ice crystals that
cool.
they refract, and you get the spectrum of the rainbow on it. So those are ones that are pretty cool. They can be rare sometimes, but in some instances where we get a lot of high clouds in the summertime, we see them a lot. Which this summer we've gotten a lot of photos of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like these ones.
Yeah, I like them too.
They're kind of fun to see.
Yeah,
All right, I got one more for you, Caitlin, and then we have one more game for you. So are you ready for this?
Okay.
What is this one?
This is just explosion cloud.
That's pretty close, right? So these are essentially clouds that form above like forest fires or like a volcano eruption. It's a very tall column of just what looks like cumulus clouds. And maybe that part of that term is in the name, if that's a hint for you. I might have given you, if you think about it, because it said fires.
Fire. Okay, you said cumulus clouds?
That might be the second part of the word. What would the first part be if we're talking about fire? Especially if you think
smoke.
If you think about news too, like what do we call people who like to set a lot of
arson? Arsonist.
Think of a different one.
Oh, like a pyro?
So what would you, maybe? Yeah. So if you combine that, what would you think?
Pyrocumulus?
There you go. Nailed it.
He said arson.
No, it's close.
Well, people that set fires.
You got the hint. You got the hint, though. We got you there. So yeah. So they form, what happens is there's just a lot of cloud nuclei. There's a little bit of some moisture in the air, and they just condense, and you get the tall column. And sometimes they can produce lightning with enough energy, and even a little bit of some precipitation. So that's where you get a little bit like the ash fall a little bit. You can get a little bit of some rain in there. So that was that one. What'd you think, Caitlin?
I thought that was fun.
Fun. Did you feel like you learned some some good cloud?
No, I learned a lot. I do, and I think it's interesting because you see clouds every single day, but you don't know what you're looking at most of the time, right? And the difference and why they're there. Obviously, we know what forms a cloud, but then why each specific cloud is formed and what it means. I think that's really interesting.
I know my poor wife gets tired of me because we're out and about. I'm like, look at that. That's gonna be a thunderstorm. And she's like, okay, that's cool.
It's like when you're younger and you're on a vacation, you're in the backseat with your siblings.
You're staring at the sky the whole time.
And you're saying that cloud looks like a dog,
Yep.
But you're more just like, hey, this cloud is actually this.
Yep. So it's a phone. So now we have a second game for you, Caitlin. And this is, I went around and asked the weather department, what's their favorite cloud? And so I gave you multiple choice for each person. So we're going to start with Rachel Teedy. Is it nacreous, mammatus, lenticular, or cirrus clouds for her?
I'm going to go lenticular.
You got that one correct.
I know, Rachel.
That was a good one. Good job.
Yay.
Ready for the next one? We have Monique. Lenticular, mammatus, pyrocumulus, or roll cloud?
I'm going to go roll cloud.
It is pyrocumulus.
Oh, that was my other one.
That was a good guess, though, right?
Man, I should have guessed it. I was going to say it, but.
That's okay. Ready? You got Christina.
Oh.
You should know this one because it's Christina. You work with her.
I know, but she likes every cloud.
So we got
How hard was it for her to decide?
Actually, it was pretty quick.
Really?
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Everybody, when I asked, was very quick.
They knew.
Yes. Like no hesitation whatsoever. Like, awesome. So is Christina a shelf cloud for her favorite, mammatus, cumulonimbus, or your favorite, undulatus asperatus?
I don't know if she would. Oh. Can I phone a friend? Can I call her? Christina?
No. What? Narrow it down to two. What two are you thinking of?
Maybe shelf.
Okay.
And maybe undulatus asperatus.
I will tell you that one of those is correct. So 50-50 chance.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
Trying to think about like what she would. I'm going to go shelf.
You're going to go shelf? Should have gone the other one.
Oh, no.
That's correct. She gave me that one because I went, what's your favorite? And she said, I go, what the heck is that? I didn't even know that.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had to look it up. Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be mad.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That was fun.
You
ready for the next one?
Yes.
We got Paul.
Oh God.
Cumulonimbus, Kelvin Helmholtz, Shelf Cloud, Bernacrius.
I'm gonna go cumulonimbus.
Cumulonimbus. You know Paul really well.
I do. I've been watching him my whole life.
It's funny. He gave me that answer. Go, what a boring answer.
After
all these clouds.
So I was in my head thinking, like, what would Paul say?
I said
Paul
it
would
to
say
him.
that one.
That's what gives us all the fun activity. I'm like, that is true. So I'll give him that one.
It's so funny because you know Paul too. I was trying to think like Paul, and that's definitely
it was
Paul.
fun. I had it down to cumulonimbus, or I had another cloud type I had picked out from Kelvin Helmholtz. Was what I was thinking he would pick.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Out of those two.
So do I get to guess yours?
Yep.
Oh,
Am I lenticular, Kelvin Helmholtz, iridescent, or a roll cloud?
Iridescent.
I am Kelvin Helmholtz. Oh! But I will say, of those choices, I like all four of them. Those are probably my top four. So, but Kelvin Helmholtz I really like just because they're so rare. And whenever I do fly, I feel like there's like occasionally once in a blue moon, like I actually see them, and I get that's like the highlight of my flight.
Well, you did trick me because when we saw you said, "Oh, I like these clouds, the iridescent ones."
I did. I did drop a couple in there. I really like these.
Yes, thanks.
I like these ones. Sorry about that one. But Caitlin,
well, Rachel and Paul will be thrilled. So.
You did good. You did great. Honestly, you did really good, Caitlin.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you taking the time to do it today with this one with me. So hopefully you had fun, and maybe you'll come back again another time. Yeah,
I'd love to join you again and just tell everybody all the stuff that I don't know. No, I learned a lot. When I'm in the car, I'm going to look up, and when I'm outside, I'll look up and try to figure out what clouds I'm
going to
seeing.
get so many pictures from you now being like this.
I know. I'm going to see something and you're like, you're totally wrong. I'm like, ooh. Remember I told you that one was in Antarctica, but.
Oh, yeah. But thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching one last time. And we'll be back again with another episode 2. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. We have a lot more good topics heading your way.